Hello and welcome to another. Oh, don't, Joe, don't start. Welcome to another episode of Wall of Reds. It is the biggest Man United panel show on the YouTube wide web. It probably isn't, but we're going to claim it anyway. Welcome along. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to all the lads who are on with me tonight for being here. Alice just dropped out. He's going to try and get back on, I think. But obviously, you're out there right now. Smash a like on this video. If you're watching through Twitter, come watch on YouTube, youtube.com/allforunited. Smash a like on this video. Hit subscribe. Let's try and hit 1.1k by the end of the show today. Your subscribes mean a lot to us. A load of you. I know Usman says there's quite a lot. A load of you who watch actually aren't subscribed to the channel. Get subscribing to the channel because we want you all involved with the upcoming shows that we've got for you. Right. Oh, lads. I wish it was on better terms tonight. I really wish it was on better terms. But thankfully for all of us, the first person who gets to speak is the person on my right, I think, which is Joe tonight. Lucky Joe. Joe, we're going to go to everyone 90 seconds to 2 minutes just with your thoughts on yesterday's disaster class against Palace. So let's come to you first, Joe. What did you make of that? And by the way, thank you for taking over the All for United Twitter as well. Great work.
Oh, thanks, Ben. That was literally the only bright spark in my day was being in control of that Twitter. It was absolute fucking misery. From the word go until the end of the game, there was no bright spark. There was no nothing. There was nothing happening whatsoever. The only thing that's even getting me through doing this right now is that I'm hoping the Rees and Ollie put out that absolute shit show of a starting 11 was to say to the board that we need signings. You need to get off your fucking arse and get shit done. It was miserable. There was no, from that performance, I hope no one here is going to be a Glazer lover right now and be like, oh, there was this, there was that. There was nothing. There was nothing in that performance that led me to believe that we're going to do anything this season. We are the only team from the top six that dropped points in our opening game, and we weren't even close. Okay, the only thing that we can say is that the penalty, like, first of all, shouldn't have been given, and second of all, Big Dave saved it, and that should have been the end of it. But that is still not taken away from the fact that we rightfully lost that game yesterday. And we have a long season ahead of us. I don't know if that's 90 seconds, but I'm just miserable. And I want everyone to be miserable as well.
I want everyone to be miserable as well. I love that. Man, bro, it was just the worst possible start to the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, just first thing I just want to touch upon something Joe said there in terms of the lineup. Firstly, I was baffled with the lineup. Yeah. However, I thought about it. I thought there's only two people missing from our first team in this lineup, really. If you look at it, Greenwood, who's a kid, really, 19, and Wan-Bissaka, who a lot of United fans have been slating because of his inability to go forward. So realistically speaking, that was practically our best team because a lot of people don't rate Wan-Bissaka's ability to go forward. So wherever Fosu Mensah offers going forward, it's not particularly going to be worse. If anything, he did okay in some parts for some of his deliveries. And yeah, granted, James didn't offer much, but Greenwood played 45 minutes as well. You can't really say he offered much more than James. So I think this whole notion that, the lineup wasn't the best, I agreed with that. Yeah, I thought Greenwood should have started, but I just think it's a piss poor excuse. Ollie got the tactics wrong. The manner in which we approached the game the first 5 minutes, I've already said this on my podcast. We gave away 3 free kicks. Pogba gave 2 free kicks away in the first 3 minutes, followed by McTominay making a silly foul as well. And that just set the tone. We were very slow to the first ball. The second ball, they beat us to it. They looked sharper. They looked hungry. They had more desire. The impetus going forward wasn't there as well. So there was a lot of things to be negative about in terms of not only just the tactics from Ollie and the lineup, but the players, they looked off the pace. They looked like that was their first game in pre-season, which, as Joe's already alluded to, everyone above us has won emphatically as well. Even Spurs have scored 5 under Jose Mourinho. So it's not a great start, to say the least, is it?
Good points, well made, mate. Looking here at Jacob. If you want to get in the live chat on YouTube, please do, guys. What Jacob's saying here is, how can we get things so consistently wrong when you see what other clubs are doing in the transfer market year after year? I just think the signings we make are fashion-based. We don't sign players who don't sound cool or fit a certain social profile. Charlie says Van der Beek has to start next week. Evening, Reese. Thank you for being on, buddy. Hello to Zarek Zez, who says you all must hope Lingard goes to Spurs. We've actually got a Barry Lingard to Spurs special dropping on the channel next week, probably. I think he'll be hoping and praying for that one. Shout to Barry if he's watching right now as well. We're going to keep coming to your comments. Want to keep hearing from the guys who are on the show hello. Mark, thank you for jumping on, mate. I love that top, by the way. I love that United.
Yeah, I was about to say, where is that from?
That was is that the one with the print on it? No, it's not. That was there on the grey one. It's the season before.
I got this when Pogba signed.
Yes.
So 2016. Yeah.
What did you, Mark? You're a voice of calm. How was you at full time yesterday?
I like to think so. To be honest with you, I think I woke up this morning feeling horrific. I'd had a wonderful sleep, woke up, remembered what a shit show it was the day before, and it was terrible. I think it goes to show, quite honestly, that pre-season is actually a big thing, and we haven't had enough time to gel. I know we've had no new players, but we need, fitness is obviously very low. I think what it also showed as well is McTominay. I think when you put him in the centre of the park as a CDM, it gives teams the license. When you've got quick players like Zaha and Ayew, it gives them the license to run at you, and he can't position himself correctly. And I think that's part of the problem. Obviously, I know Maguire didn't have the best games, but I think I've said on many shows before, a defender isn't really my priority, but I think I've been proven wrong, and I think we definitely need to get a quick centre back to accommodate both Maguire and Lindelof. I think on their own, with a quick centre back, both of them might actually do okay. So it was a real shame, but yeah, I think it sort of sounded out McTominay on a lot of things. Obviously, you're absolutely right, Usman, that with the team that we put out, we have a strong enough 11 to beat teams, no disrespect, like Palace, and it's a real shame. And I'd like to think, and I can agree with Joe, that hopefully Ollie put the team out like he did to show to the board. But you're never going to know. I just hope that they can really turn around and do something about it now and get what we need in. But yeah, it was incredibly disappointing, and I just hope that we can maybe find our feet a little bit, look a little bit sharper in the next few games, and maybe build up a bit of momentum. But we're quick to jump on the bandwagon every time when someone, Arsenal won 3-0 the other day. They weren't particularly good in their second game, and everyone was very quick to say, they're going to be ones to watch. But it's very quick to judge. So hopefully it's just a blip. Hopefully we can get more players in, and hopefully we can grab a bit of momentum and start to pick up the pace. That was awful.
Thank you, mate. Alan, what did you make of that yesterday?
Yes, yesterday's game, I didn't expect a lot. I wanted to have a lot of high expectations into this game, but yesterday's team performance was more like a Van Gaal's team, listless and uninterested. If you look at the lineup itself, the right side itself was totally disappointing. Dan James and Fosu Mensah, both of them were too direct and predictable when moving forward. They were literally in quarantine. It exposed the right-hand side. And Victor Lindelof, he looked knackered, without Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He was totally exposed. The space in between Maguire and Lindelof, that helped Palace to come 3 against 2. And that really shook us, actually. And the only positive from this game, Donny van de Beek finding the space, coming in the right position. That is the only positive from this game. I hope more fresh faces can come into the team, because we didn't plan well. We didn't prepare well for this game. Even Luke Shaw was saying that only 4 or 5 players were there when he came to the training session. So they had to reacquaint with each and everyone. They had to gel. So they need more game time across everyone, because we didn't get preseason. So the coming cup games, we have to see how we'll move on with the team.
Yeah, good points made there, Alan. Thank you for that. Oliver, welcome along. It's good to see that you've been able to connect, mate. Thank you for jumping in. And I'm sorry that we're not speaking for the first time on happier terms, to be honest.
No, mate. Let's be honest.
3-1. Yeah, thoughts, mate. Reaction to the
everyone else was, along with myself, totally dejected after the game. I thought not only, the lack of working together for a week, I think that showed, obviously, but then the likes of Dan James, who is totally ineffective on the right. He doesn't play there for Wales, didn't play there for Swansea for a reason. a lack of a good right foot cross. It kept cutting in. It was just totally predictable. Scott McTominay shouldn't have played CDM. I think he prefers to get forward a bit too much. And whether or not it was just a lackluster performance from Pogba, or whether or not, he just looked a little bit lazy at times, but they kept getting caught out. I think Palace came with a game plan, and the geriatric Roy Hodgson just masterclass. To be fair, they had us every opportunity, but two bang average players like MacArthur and McCarthy just absolutely bossed our midfield. You look at the collective cost of our midfield, that should not be happening, no matter how lack of sort of fitness that we had. We got totally bossed off the park. I think they came with let's attack him, catch him cold. They did that perfectly. But if you actually look at the first goal, I think it's Luke Shaw that's actually at fault. I mean, yes, Lindelof should do better, but then Luke Shaw's just yet again just totally got his marking, his positional, all wrong, and yet it's him to blame. Oh well, we only had a week pre-season. There was 4 players there. Yes, but surely playing for Man United, you should be getting everything right. He gets paid enough to do that. I think we're probably the highest paying club on wages, and you really think they should have done a lot better. I think it looked abject and it looked sloppy, but then it was more, they looked like they'd given up. As soon as we were a few goals down, that was it then. I mean, understandably, the penalty was a lot, it was very harsh, especially the retaking when he was an inch off the line. But, you've got to keep going. You look at the top teams, that's what they do. Leicester tonight, Burnley kept going. Burnley, mid-table at best. They didn't give up and they kept going. Whereas we looked like we had really given up, aside from Danny van der Beek. So.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to come to individual moments 100% in a minute. So I'll definitely want to pick your mind on that first goal again. And we'll talk about Donny van der Beek's performance as well. Maybe the one positive we can grab from that. If you're watching on YouTube, guys, make sure you hit subscribe, smash a like on the video, use the live chat as well. I want to hear your thoughts. James, let's come over to you, mate. Just a quick 90-second reaction to the defeat yesterday.
Well, I mean, I want to start by saying, I was ridiculed for it and you all made fun of me for it. But that performance, to me, showed how important Matic is to this team. I'm not letting that go. Scott McTominay's performance was just woeful, I think. He was, I think, because I spoke about it with someone else, he's a very reactive player, not proactive player. Something happens and then he reacts to it, which is why he gives away so many fouls. He's not great at winning the ball back. And when he gets the ball in an attacking area, he's pretty inept as well. I think, Matic is good at winning the ball back and he uses it as well. And you look at where most of Palace's counter-attacks were coming from. They were straight down the middle with where the gap was. Pogba and Bruno don't get out of this. They were horrendous as well. But if you've got Matic in there sitting as an anchor, I think quite a few of their attacks are stopped a lot easier than they were. But take nothing away from how horrendous everyone else in the team was. I don't want to start on a downer, but you don't really have much choice after a performance like that. So yeah, like Mark says, I really hope it's just a blip because we were good at the end of last season and not a lot has changed. But it was just a performance that absolutely reeked of no preparation. Like you said, not enough players back for pre-season. Just. You've had, 4 weeks now to prepare for this game and no one was on the same wavelength at all. So, yeah, disappointing to say the least.
Good point there on them not being on the same wavelength. I want to jump back into that a little bit because I sort of felt the same. I felt like the combinations weren't there, which is slightly worrying because they have only had 3-4 weeks off. And, you can say it's a lack of rest. You can say they're still tired. You can say that they're not up to fitness, whatever end of the excuse you're on. Actually, I do agree with you there, James. I was a little bit worried seeing that the combinations weren't there and they didn't seem to be playing together like they did for the majority of the games after the pandemic and after lockdown happened. So we'll jump back into that. Loving the positivity from Ronnie here. And of course, he echoes all of our statements, although we're still a little bit pissed off. Still love Manchester United. Hello to the real Greg who says, good day, guys. Zarek also thinks that we're going to be sending the Deadwood off first and then we'll start signing players. Reese's opinion on this is the players yesterday had no hunger, no passion, no drive. They had no movement. Hopefully back on the channel soon, lads. Will be a great one tonight. Thank you, Reese, for your opinion. Jacob here says, I really fear for Ollie, man. I'm not sure he's intense enough for where we are and where the EPL us. I mean, I sort of think I get what you're saying from that. And little chat here on transfers from some Jay, which we will jump into in a second, especially when we're talking about Spurs as well in a bit. How on earth did we let Bale go to Spurs? Any danger whatsoever in Woodward getting him on loan? He's a winner and can win games by himself. We'll come back to that.
No.
First of all, Gary, let me come over to you, mate. Your 90 seconds quickly on yesterday's performance. A final word from you in total on this.
I think you guys have all covered it. Can we go on somewhere else?
Well, if you want, Gary, let me come to you with the first question off the back of what everyone said, because I think this is quite an important one. And I want to talk a little bit about the lack of creating opportunities yesterday, because we just didn't seem to get that ball into our front men at all. And even when we did have the ball there, Bruno on the ball, we've spoken about him. Pogba lost the ball way too much. Martial, I don't think Martial had a shot on goal, did he? I mean, that's extremely frightening.
I think we just lack match fitness. I think we played one pre-season game last weekend. And my opinion is that we should be playing a full-strength side on Tuesday away at Luton. If he's worrying about fitness on players, let's play the team we played on Saturday. Get them all playing. Get that fitness up. But I don't understand why we didn't play Wan-Bissaka. He was on the bench. He was on the bench, wasn't he? Was he on the bench?
Yeah,
he was on the bench.
Yeah. He's not
He should have
100%.
played. Well, okay. If you're not 100%, don't be on the bench. But that's my opinion. You know. But we should have played Matic. I agree with James on that one. You know, he should have played instead of McTominay. Bruno, do you think he's got a little bit found out from last season? A little bit, I don't know, but he's still a quality player. That dive he did was a little bit of worrying for me. A lot of people.
That wasn't a dive.
He got
He wasn't a dive.
He got clattered, mate. He got clattered.
Yeah, come on.
To be fair to Gary, Charlie jumps on saying Bruno diving all over the place too, just awful all over the pitch.
Okay, well,
got someone back in
Charlie's wrong as well.
Sorry, Gary, carry on.
I didn't hear that. What you say?
I said that Charlie's agreeing with you here, but Bruno diving all over the place too, just awful all over the pitch.
No,
he's probably a City fan.
No, mate, not having that.
No, the hard bit for me last night was watching it with a Liverpool fan. That was really hard to swallow because he was just sat there.
I can't believe
your own
you
fault.
found yourself with one, to be honest.
Oh, honestly, you know, but yeah.
Don't be friends with Liverpool fans.
We're lacking match fitness. Ollie knows that, but like you said, why do you think he would play that team to get the ball to react? They're not going to react. They don't care, do they? I don't think they care.
I still don't care. You don't throw the first game of the season to make a point forward. I hate that. That's Mourinho logic all over.
I don't think he threw the first game. I think it was a case of like he did think that team was good enough to beat Crystal Palace, but it's also a case of going like there are issues here, like us having Foster-Mensah at right back and Dan James as right winger. Like that's not good enough going into any season. Like I think his mindset was we can beat Palace, but we can't beat the best teams with the squad we have. That's what I'm saying with that is. And it's not
my argument off the back of that is going to be, and I don't know if you want to jump into this, but he started Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba came into training on Monday, and watching him, you could tell that wasn't Paul Pogba. Pogba shouldn't have been starting that game at all, should he?
Very bad.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, I don't know whether that's protecting Van der Beek against overplaying Paul Pogba, or whether or not he wanted to throw
maybe, yeah.
But he'd have done a better job. He looked fresh when he came on, fit, Pogba looked abject as usual.
I just thought Pogba just didn't look there.
Van der Beek was the only positive. Van der Beek was the only positive, I think, from last night.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that positive. Usman, let me come over to you and give you this one. Van der Beek, take the floor, mate. Were you impressed with his cameo when he came on? Would you be starting him midweek? Would you be starting him on Sunday? Is it Saturday against Brighton? What are your thoughts on Van der Beek?
Well, I was speaking to one of my mates on one of our shows, and I think he summed it up perfectly. Van der Beek epitomised him not being here long enough, basically, for him to come into a team that's not playing one-touch football. He's still got Ajax education. Ajax education is pass the ball, move into space, keep it simple, don't overcomplicate things, one-touch football if you can, play triangles and keep the ball popping and move into space. You saw so many times he was finding himself in the pockets of space in front of the back four, in between the back four and the midfield. So obviously that little area of uncertainty where the centre back doesn't know if I should take him or if the midfielder needs to take him. It causes confusion. He was moving in between those pockets. Basically, what you would expect Bruno to be doing, he wasn't doing it for whatever reason. He kept the ball moving. You saw straight away on the left side. He played a couple of triangles with Martial. Martial got involved. Rashford got involved. I believe Luke Shaw was getting involved as well. We actually looked like a team that could play football for like 30 seconds. It was beautiful to watch for a whole 30 seconds in 90 minutes at Old Trafford. But regarding Van de Beek, what I will say is that finish by him was absolutely class. That's his first ever shot, Man United, to put it in the bottom corner like that. From a fairly acute angle, his body shape, he had to adjust it quickly because, of course, he had to react to a ricochet. So he was the only breath of fresh air. I hope that we have a Pogba that's fit and he can link up with Pogba and Bruno. Regarding your question, if he should start against Luton, if he's not starting against Luton with Pogba and Bruno, I might just take my hat off and pull my hair off. So, it's got to start. Like, sure, if this sort of notion that the players haven't got match sharpness, which I agree with, Luton should be the perfect opportunity for them to get that in the leg, get minutes into the legs, and hopefully we can go again against Brighton.
Shout out to Carl, Emma, the United family. Match fitness and the lack of competitive games during pre-season is a massive issue. Palace played 4 pre-season games and 1 Premier League game. It's a massive advantage for them. Do you know what, Mark? Watching the game, it did feel a bit like men against boys, didn't it? It felt like you were watching a team that was fully fit, back in their rhythm, against a team that literally just got off the beach.
Yeah, absolutely. They looked far sharper. Running ring round our midfield, which quite honestly, with the 2 in midfield, is in no comparison compared to Pogba and Bruno. And I think that on the back of what others have said, I think we have to play a fully strength side. If it is match fitness that we're lacking, then what an opportunity to get some minutes into the legs, as he said. So really, I'm lost for words. Really, it's been a very frustrating 24 hours. I've tried to stay off Twitter to miss all the crap that's going on and all the people jumping on the bandwagon. But really disappointing. They looked far sharper, and I think it just we always moan about pre-season and having to travel all this distance and everything, but I think it just goes to show us how important it really is. And Palace looked so much. They had 2 front players that, when you're, as I said to you earlier, when you're playing McTominay, you've got free reign to run at you, and he's not gonna be able to challenge and get the ball off you. So they played it perfectly. You tend to see that when McTominay's playing, they'll play a lot narrower and run at them, but they looked far sharper, and that was our big problem. Problem.
Spot on, mate. Spot on. Let me come over to you with this one, Oliver, because I'm quite interested to hear your thoughts on this. Mark managed to ignore Twitter. Unfortunately, having a Twitter account we do, and Joe would have seen it as well, and I think everyone else who's actually on Twitter would have seen it. A lot of people questioning Ollie already. We're game 1. So is that an overreaction, or do people already have
obviously it's a massive overreaction. I mean, was the excuse of we've not had the pre-season, they need the time in the legs. But I think it's a bit too early to be hitting the panic button. I mean, let's be honest, everyone's just a bit sort of bored of no transfers. Everyone else keeps buying players, especially when they're not supposed to be. Liverpool put people on furlough. They've, keep buying quality players. That's 3 now, is it, with Jota? Same with Tottenham. I mean, we missed a bullet with Bale, but I think we needed a bit of fresh life put into this squad. I mean, it shows with Donny van de Beek, he's European top-level player. Look at his finish. Under a lot of pressure, he's come on, we're losing, and yet he still just does the simple things well. And it's like they were saying, with the pass and move. If all else fails, do the simple things right, and you will get a result, or you should do, being a top 3 team that we're clearly striving to be at the minute. So I worry about a game against Brighton. Has to be said, they've not looked bad.
And Brighton today, Brighton today pushed high up the pitch and were very good on the press against Newcastle. They basically played if they play like that similar against United again are going to have problems. So I think, I want to reflect on what you just said. I thought Brighton actually today looked good on the press.
Well, dangerous, wasn't it? They were there, second balls, they were there. There was another man, bringing someone back in from midfield into the high press. If that happens against us, well, I'll give you 10 minutes into the game, we'll be 1 down again. And then everyone will be looking for, who's to blame, like it was after the first goal today, or the other day. Luke Shaw screaming at Maguire screaming at Lindelof. Where's the, taking a bit of initiative, saying, yeah, all right, fair dues, that was my fault. Let's sort it out, looking for a leader to just go, we need to sort this back line out, so, solidify, and then everyone knows their roles. I mean, I don't know what the simple solution is, but whether or not we need to buy a quality, quick centre-back as a sweeper is the most important transfer that I think we need and have needed for a while, to be fair.
And the solution, Gary, isn't to start screaming Ollie out, is it? I think that's just it's just not going to help things, is it? So, Gary, just a bit on a bit on Ollie, a bit on needing patience, and I suppose a little bit around where we need to get back to. We're talking about match sharpness, match fitness. So straight away, is it important for Ollie to show his intentions and play a full strength side against Luton? Do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. We've played one competitive match, in the league. We've played one pre-season game. So Tuesday night, away to Luton, gives them all the chance, give them all the run out. We get a couple of early goals, then take them off, but play them 60 minutes at least, then get some of the other fringe players on. Just give them a run out. That's what they need. They need match sharpness.
Someone here, Gary, sorry, just to show you, because we're talking about the people who are saying Ollie out, Colm here is just, I like it when people get involved with opposite opinions and give their thoughts on situations around United. But Gary, let me just throw this comment over to you that Colm's just thrown into our chat. Is there another Premier League club that would have our manager? Just your reaction, Gary, and what you'd say in return to someone who's quite clearly here, Kyle. I hope you don't mind me second guessing you, but you're quite clearly you're not convinced by Ollie, and potentially one of those people saying Ollie out.
I'm not saying Ollie out, definitely.
No, Colm is. What I'm trying to say is, your reactions to comment and to people who are already saying those things.
Where would he go? I don't know. That is a good question. To be fair, I don't know. It's caught me on the hop, that one.
I don't think it's a very fair question, to be honest.
No.
I feel that I don't think he's actually made for any other club. I appreciate that he.
I mean, I know. I think in hindsight, you can turn around and say, well, wait a second. Look at the top six. Would any of these top six clubs have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as their football manager?
No.
Because I think you can look back at his pedigree and make that judgment. So I think what Colm's trying to say in respect to Colm is well, wait a second. We're Manchester United. Maybe Colm thinks we're settling to have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he's a club legend. I mean, I don't know. I'm putting words into Colm's mouth there. He hasn't actually explained himself properly. But
what Ollie's done though is from December we had a 14-point deficit from fourth, and he's clawed that back since the restart, and that's quite an achievement. And to get top three. So there's not enough people that have acknowledged that. That's quite impressive for what he had. Getting Bruno in was an absolute blinder. Getting him in.
We should have done that summer before. Yeah.
Yeah, we should have got him in the summer. That was the board again, floundering over a few million. What would have happened if we'd have signed him then? But we got him in January, and Ollie I think did a great job getting us. Everyone's saying, 14 points off top four. We ended up getting third. That's some turnaround. Yeah. I don't think there's not enough people out there to acknowledge that.
Yeah, I think that's one good point, mate. Sorry, Mark, do you want to say something off the back of that, mate?
Just a couple of things. It's like when you go to a restaurant, isn't it? If you go to a shitty restaurant, you're going to talk about it a bit more and you forget all the good things, right? And for me, exactly that point. He has done some great things and he knows the club. And what worries me is they obviously did a revamp with scouting network and the players that he's bringing in. And I fear that if he goes, then that goes with him and we'll go back to square one. I think he's made some big changes with personnel and mentality. And I fear that if we bring someone in that doesn't understand the club like he does, then we're going to lose that. And I think it would be a massive step back at the moment.
We need Manchester United footballing people at the club, and I think it's important that he improves as a manager as he goes along the way and makes his mistakes. But he has to make those improvements to his game. I think that's really, really important. Yeah. And I'm excited if he does, because as you say there, Gary, I think you make a really good point. He's deserving of his chance. He's done it. He's done enough to get his chance, and now he has to take it, and he has to be backed, doesn't he, Alan? And I think that's where we're coming now to everyone who's calling out, and Joe made a good point as well in terms of maybe all his team selection was trying to say to the board or convince the board in some way. he has to be backed in this window now, hasn't he, Alan? So is it a must to get a Jadon Sancho in, or is it now actually we've seen our frailties at centre back? We need to go and get a new defender in that will complement Maguire.
Well, I've been of the opinion to get a left-footed centre back in, but if Aaron Wan-Bissaka comes into the squad, I feel Lindelof will be a bit more stable. I feel we need a right winger. It's very important because with someone like Dan James, if it's Mason Greenwood, he goes inside, and you saw Dan James yesterday. He was too direct. The crosses, most of them are unsuccessful, and whenever he came into the box, he had a chance to score, but instead what he did was go through Kouyaté, and then if Jadon Sancho comes in, it'll give another dimension to the team, in terms of crossing. It'll help Wan-Bissaka as well. Maybe those overlapping runs, those decoys, we can see more of that from him. And personally, I prefer a left-footed centre-back, but at the moment, looking at the market, I don't think it'll happen. Maybe a left-back would be coming in instead.
Interesting. I mean, it's James. Let me come over to you, mate, on the goals we conceded. I don't need to mention the second goal, do I? I don't get the I really do not get that handball at all. I don't get it. Even by the letter of the law, I don't get it. We've all played football, right? I mean, how can you stop yourself running? Running's an important part of football, and his hand isn't in an unnatural position for someone who's running. And then the retake. Oh my God. Like, I've only just seen another angle now, which has shown me that he wasn't actually in the air. When I originally saw it, I thought, well, when the ball was kicked by Ayew, De Gea was still in the air. He hadn't even moved off of his line. He had just jumped forward. And now I've seen that literally he was like that off the... it's just ridiculous.
So infuriating.
If you go by that rule, then you would overturn so many more penalties in the past, right?
Yeah. Do you know what, though? Go back and watch, and again, we could go into this 100 times. Go back and watch Palace's first goal, right? And if by the letter of the law, when you're running and your arm is out, I can't work out whether Schlupp chests it here or if it hits his arm here as he's moved forward with it. And I'm not saying VAR would rule that. I'm not saying that goal should have been disallowed, whatever. I think if your hand is or arm is not in an unnatural position, it's not handball. Like, it's just not. Like, if you're going to stop penalties, you've got to give it over the pitch. I don't get that decision.
They were saying with handball on Match of the Day, and this is how ridiculous the sort of petulance of these new rules are, that if it hits the shirt on the shoulder, then it's not classed as a handball, but anything underneath that. I mean, what happens if you're wearing a long sleeve shirt? How can they follow these rules?
It's not handball at all.
And what happens to ball to hand?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Someone kicks the ball.
Not just that. Not just that. The Arsenal versus West Ham game. Gabriel also.
Gabriel.
And what's even more frustrating is that last season we sponsored VAR, and now they're putting decisions against us.
Did you see the handball with the? Who was it? That 152 was it Spurs? That 152 today.
Spurs 152.
They got penalty, didn't they? Southampton. Probably the most disgraceful penalty of it. It's 1 yard away. It's ricocheted off another player, hits him, and they're giving a penalty because it's hit his arm. But it's literally 1 yard away. It's hit another player, then hit the guy's arm.
Well, that's underneath the shirt, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's literally how they have to follow it now.
Do you know what's great about all this, though, is that actually we were ridiculed for the handball in the game against PSG in Paris, that wasn't a handball. All these now make that look like a Stonewall handball. About that when it comes to this. Anyway, I just want to talk about the other two goals, James. And we spoke a bit about transfer options in defence just there with Alan. But just quickly, your run through of the two goals. I think we've mentioned that Shaw was at fault for the first goal, but then also Lindelof just wasn't good enough on a one-on-one. And also Fosu-Mensah, where was he? And then the second goal, I mean, Usman, earlier on, mate, you did mention, and I'll come back to your comment, that we were quite weak in the tackle. I actually thought, do you know what, Lindelof, you're on the edge of the ball here with Zaha. You're squaring up to him.
Clatter him.
Take him out.
Take the man with the ball, man.
Go. Yeah, 100%. James, what did you make of the defending for the two goals?
I think it speaks for itself. It was woeful defending. I think it's a combination in the first goal was a combination of Lindelof and Shaw. I think he gets past Lindelof way too easy. You can't let a player like, was it Was it Zaha or Schlupp who was going into the box? Either way, absolutely rapid.
Schlupp, I guess.
Absolutely rapid player darting into the box, and he's stood 2 yards off him. That's at this level you're going to get punished, and we did. And then Luke Shaw just had no idea where Townsend was. I think he was looking at the pie shop in the stands instead of his man. And then the third goal was just infuriating. I think did Lindelof not have a chance to just completely clear his lines, and he went with the wrong foot and scuffed it.
It was at 80-20, 20 being hard to win it, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. So there's no conviction there. It's like all his aerial duels. There's no conviction in there. You don't ever expect him to win, and I think it just highlights how our transfer priorities, in my opinion, are sort of in the wrong place. We're going all out for Sancho for 100 million when Tellez and Upamecano can come in for a lot less than 100 million, and we're not even really looking at them, in my opinion. So it's just really frustrating.
It's so tough, isn't it? I also I don't want to talk about the Scousers here, but in terms of buying from the league as well, they've got a right.
They've done it, mate.
I would love to have a look at Sarr. I just think if you're going to target anyone right now, I think you're right. We need to target a centre back who can complement Harry Maguire. That's the most important thing, because Harry Maguire is going to start no matter what. You're right. Left back. I said this on Twitter. I'm still not massively convinced by Alex Telles. I'm just not, because I feel like he's at his ceiling now. Maybe on showing
he's sensational.
Better. It's not sensational.
Going forward. Going forward.
No, he's not. No, he's not sensational.
Going forward,
he might be good. He might be good, which means better than Shaw, but he is not sensational.
Forget defence.
Look at Joe yawning. He's like, get out of him.
I've heard this all week.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to come over though and talk about a couple of things on transfer. Actually, I'm going to come to you as man in a second and talk about Tellez. Actually, stay right there, Joe. First of all, the rumours today. Of course, there's rumours today that United are linked with a different player. Do we dare say Dele Alli's name?
Oh my God! Please don't.
No chance, mate.
Okay.
If Lingard goes. Does Dele Alli add something? If Lingard goes to Spurs, should Ali be a player we're looking at? What are your thoughts on the links today with Lingard out?
No.
I put up a poll. Just upset Usman. I want Dele Alli. I love him so much. I think he's the best player in the whole world. That's just to see you cringe, you humpy fuck you. With Dele Alli, I put up a thing on Twitter today. If it was a straight swap, would you take him? And if there's no money involved, myself and Hayder were discussing this, then I take him as a straight swap, because I do think he is an upgrade. Okay, I can see all of you shaking your heads, okay? But Dele Alli is better than Jesse Lingard. I'm sorry. Is that a shock horror to you?
To play where though?
No, but to play is an option, okay? And he gets
you'd sub Van de Beek on, surely, wouldn't you?
No, but I'm just saying more options going forward. That's what I'm trying to say. That he's not someone I'd want to spend money on. But if it's for a straight swap, and if that's the only argument to get him, I would say but overall, no, of course not. We don't want Dele Alli. What we want is centre half, left back, hold midfielder, and right winger, and then maybe Dele Alli.
Just quickly on Ali, anyone else in this chat, would anyone else take Ali, but say for instance it was a swap situation, or for whatever reason, Lingard, anyone else in this chat interested in Ali at United?
No, I think he'd need to play.
Absolutely.
He'd have to play.
You look at all of our midfield options.
We don't need him.
We don't need him.
At least Lingard offers something on the right wing.
Joe, I'm with you. And I feel like I'm the only one. I would say I don't see why they're not swap with Lingard tomorrow. I would buy Spurs' hands for that transfer. I'm not saying I would go and pay 60
but first,
but if it was a swap, I'd do it.
A straight swap. But why? He is better than Jesse Lingard.
I'm not disputing that. You're missing the point.
Where is he going to play?
If you've seen the Tottenham documentary, you'll realise how petulant
he's lazy.
he is.
Joe's
lazy. He's pointed out. And if he doesn't play, he soon sees his ass, throws out the pram.
Don't
need him.
Don't believe his documentary.
He's toxic.
Can he play centre back?
Can he play centre back? Barry spoken. Dele Alli in my dreams. Spurs wouldn't be that stupid. I'll do that deal in a heartbeat. Charlie, Barry. Ali is a knock. Yes, I'll take Dele Alli. What else are we looking at here?
Charlie said it perfectly. He's an knobhead. Thank you, Charlie. Get Charlie's comment back on the screen.
But Ali, we've got to be honest with Dele Alli. He's not hit his ceiling yet. By no means.
He's a young talent.
Just I mean, 27,
and he's still a young talent.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's I might come to a few more about Jesse Lingard in a second, but Usman, I want to give you your chance to convince me about Alex Telles. Why?
It can't be worse than Shaw, can it? So there you go.
Yeah, but that's not a reason. That's not a reason to go out and look. I want us to improve.
20 million. He's 20 million.
But we're not paying FIFA here where we've got 20 million left in like the budget of our kitty for this summer.
Sell Delo, and you'll get at least 15, 20 million for Delo and get Telles. It's an absolute no-brainer. In terms of his return going forward, we're crying out for a fullback that can actually cross the ball and actually offer something going forward. Wan-Bissaka, for me personally, has to stay in the team. He offers balance to the team. Luke Shaw did well in moments, but he's injured every 4 weeks. So you can't rely on Luke Shaw. So if Luke Shaw, if you want to keep Luke Shaw at left back and he gets injured, that means we either got Fosu-Mensah left back or Williams left back for the rest of the season. If Luke Shaw gets a long injury, it's not good enough.
Yeah, I'm not disputing for depth. Like we need a left back. I completely agree. But I would like us to, and I suppose it's a small market because I couldn't sit here and tell you now a left back out there who's world class. I couldn't. And the Reguilon rumours only excited me because again, like speaking to Spanish journalists and speaking to people, they thought Reguilon still had a way to improve. So would have been a good signing for United. However, again, that buyback clause, I'm with the people who say that we should be injecting shit like that into deals. So for me, the only thing with Alex Telles is, and in the way that United play and the way that we've sort of moulded around our philosophy for me, he doesn't fit the mould. He's not a combination player. He is a great crosser of the ball. Do not get me wrong. A great crosser of the ball. But tell me a time. Tell me a time, yes, sir, and this was my argument on Twitter. Tell me a time in the game against Palace, anyone in this call now, when you spotted more than one person in the box.
But that's the problem, though. If you got Luke Shaw on one wing, right, and you got Fosu-Mensah on wing, you're not going to go in the box when you know the delivery is dog shit every time. Come on, if you ever get past the first defender.
I think that's the reason why they bought in Odion Ighalo.
Luke Shaw put one good cross in, and right at the end of the game, right, when he hits it from the outside of his boot, you should have seen the shock on Martial's face and Ratcher's face. They're like, oh my God, he can actually cross the ball. None of them ran in, they don't expect it.
But then again, a mentality thing. I'm extremely worried if you're a forward player and you're not striving to get in that box.
Yeah, but I'll give you another example, right? So when Pereira was playing behind Martial was making runs, he was never getting the ball. Eventually, you could tell he was getting frustrated. As soon as Bruno came, he started making the runs because he knows Bruno's capable of giving him the ball that he'll actually get an end of. With the likes of Luke Shaw, Fosu-Mensah, Wan-Bissaka, it's very rare that they actually put in a good ball. So if we've all played football, you can say, oh, let's be professional, constantly make 10 runs a game. If you're not going to get the ball 10 out of 10 times, eventually you think, no, what, I'm not even going to bother. And that's just a simple fact. Telles, when you've got a player of that ability on the wing, you know their cross is going to be of quality. You're going to get in. And if they're not getting in, that's when Ollie needs to get on the back and say, what the fuck are you doing? Get in the box. But at the moment, Ollie can't say that because when does Luke Shaw put a good cross in? Never.
But then again, is Ollie putting the team out there and is he ever saying to his team, again, just playing devil's advocate here, is he ever saying to this team, let's get that ball in the box? Let's find Mason Greenwood. Fosu-Mensah put a brilliant ball in the box, a peach of a ball in, and Mason Greenwood or a striker has to be scoring that.
Agree.
Has to be. And it's the same with Martial. We've seen him score one-headed goal, which was against Chelsea. Beautiful header from a Wan-Bissaka cross. But other than that, when was the last time you saw United score a header? I agree with you. It's got to be. You've got to be expecting the ball in the box, and if you don't expect your wing backs to put that ball in the box, then it's going to stem your runs. I completely agree. I understand what you're saying, but I'm also saying to you that, well, actually, is it at all in Ollie's philosophy to play that way? I don't think he wants a wing backs getting down to.
I don't think he does.
I think he wants to play in triangles. I think that's how he wants to play. Well, Marcus Rashford's a good point. When was the last time you saw Marcus Rashford run to the bar line?
Yeah, but you need to understand that he's using the fullbacks as our width. He's got Rashford and Greenwood tucking in to get as close as possible to Martial. And then he's using the fullbacks. When Luke Shaw's on song, he overlaps Rashford a lot.
Yeah.
And, well, if that's Telles, that ball will be of quality into the box. You'll have the likes of Greenwood gambling more often because 9 out of 10 times it's going to be on a sixpence. If you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold in our team, you're telling me that these guys aren't going to run to the box. They're not going to stand there. They know you can get on them. I'm a massive fan of Shaw, right? And it's coming from me. You can ask anyone that knows me. I've always defended Shaw. But at the end of the day, right, if you've got somebody like Telles who's got, 15 assists, 4 seasons on the bounce, granted it's a Portuguese league, but you've got to go for it. At the end of the day, he could be a Trent. Trent's not good defensively. He's shit. But it doesn't matter. He's just on the other side.
Yeah.
Mark, sorry, you was going to say something?
So last season he got 11 goals and 8 assists. We always bang on about how our fullbacks don't overlap, they don't cross enough. I'm not saying that that's how Ollie wants to play, but if we have that opportunity for them to run to the byline, absolutely go for it. And if he's going to give us that attacking threat, and then if we want to have a more defensive game, because I actually think Shaw, after lockdown, he was very good defensively, and I still think he could play a good part there. We've seen for Southampton as well. He going forward, actually, he was very good there too. But I think Telles for 18 million,
it's a steal.
Go for it. Absolutely.
It's a free. Sell to no price.
Go for it.
Basically.
You'd be so silly not to. And there's a reason why PSG going in for him. They seem to recruit very well.
Well, and is that why United have been linked to him?
Maybe.
Is it too sensible for United to put off this transfer? I'm not sure. Again, I stick by what I say. I still think players even now, even with Shaw, even with Wan-Bissaka, they should be getting in the box. Again, Bruno gets the ball quite a lot on that, 25 yards out on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, has a look in the box, no runners, plays it short all the time. So United, you are right. I completely agree with you. If we can get someone out wide who can actually put a decent ball in the box, 100%. We need to be going for that because Wan-Bissaka offers something defensively that no other fullback in world football does, and that's the fact that he's actually a fantastic freaking defender nowadays, which says a lot. So we need an attacking threat down the left-hand side,
and he's getting better. I
agree. But Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, he's getting better. That's the only game. That's the only part of his game that he needs to develop.
Yeah,
he's getting better though. He's crossing.
The
forwards we've got, you've definitely got the pace to get on the back, the back post.
And when we talk about exciting players, I think we always springs to mind Rashford, Greenwood, the young lads, in terms of people to watch. But I actually think Wan-Bissaka, we forget how young he is. Like watching him develop at United is going to be something quite quality. Although he's only a right back, because he's going to be able to do everything at some point. Yeah. We hope anyway.
We hope.
One more on transfer chatter. I had another name to throw out there, but I can't remember. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. We haven't heard anything about the man who apparently was going to be wearing the number 7 shirt at United soon. And I'm going to get on to Gareth Bale in a second. So I just want to hit on one more talking point. Because, again, Twitter exploded afterwards. Who was the number 1 trending name on Twitter, guys, after United lost?
Sancho, probably. Lindelof or Sancho, one of them.
Jadon Sancho.
Oh, is it Sancho?
Yeah, Jadon Sancho. So, Alan, let me come over to you quickly. We've just spoken about priorities and we've all got our own opinions. But again, if this Sancho deal doesn't happen, are we falling into that realm again of that every single United fan is going to be just... it's just going to be that final day of the transfer window is just going to be carnage if this Sancho deal doesn't happen, isn't it?
Yes, definitely, because he's been a priority since the March of last year, right? So Ollie's expecting him, and I'm pretty sure that he was promised Jadon Sancho this year, and they've been negotiating things, and he's a perfect fit for us, and he'll be giving a lot of morale boost to Marcus Rashford as well in the team, because we've been seeing the low side of Rashford since Project Restart. So fresh face in will really help the team. And I feel Jadon Sancho will happen this year. It should happen because next year there'll be competition for him for the likes of Real Madrid, PSG, Barcelona. They'll be going for him. Even maybe Liverpool, we don't know. Maybe even Chelsea might go for him. And 120 million in installments, add-ons. If it's agreeable, just do the deal. That's it, because he'll be a big boost for us.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not in a position that we definitely do 100% need to strengthen him, because centre-back, I think, as mentioned, needs to be a priority. He would spur the team on. Jamie, we'll probably end up with David Brooks on deadline day.
I'm scared if we'll end up with Josh King instead.
Josh King, don't talk about Josh King. Ree says, remember when I was on the chat previously, I suggested Dallo and Cash for Tellez, and now many more saying it.
I read that today, actually, that Dallo might be part of something. I did read that.
Porto are taking all day. Portuguese wonder kid.
I mean, a straight swap there, maybe. I don't know how you'd sort of put that about, really. But I would. If Dallo's not going to get played, Ollie doesn't like him, give him to Porto if they want him back, and we'll have Tellez, no problem.
Hello to Reese, who says Theo Hernandez over Alex Tellez. He's also just jumped on again with another comment here, basically saying that Ollie needs to be backed. Ollie wanted Haaland, classic number 9. Bellingham, defensive midfielder.
I didn't think he was.
He's a centre mid.
It's more box
Anyway,
Sancho right wing, that makes his high pressing system more dangerous and a threat going forward. Board failed Ollie with not signing those 3 alone. And hello to Charlie, who says the only thing that's keeping me going right now is Van der Beek is better than Havertz. And
Stats don't lie.
But in fairness, on the Haaland thing, we could have had him, but that we would have had a buy-on clause of 35 or 40 million. That's what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
after 2 years that he could leave for 40 million or something stupid like that. So I think that's why we didn't buy him in the end.
Is that what Dortmund have agreed to?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Dortmund.
Yeah,
wow.
62 million, isn't it? But that's because Mino Riola's his agent, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And he is a fucking wanker.
Yeah.
Just seeing if there's any more comments here. There's quite a few coming in, but everyone's splitting up their comments. So I'm trying to make sense of what people are saying as I put them in here.
Jesse's as well, so get him to take them off our books.
Yeah. What about this one, guys? Matter has been forgotten.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Stop being so mean. Matt is a lovely, lovely human being.
Yeah, he's a lovely human being, but we're trying to win a fucking title here. We're not here to the best personality award.
Technically very good. Really, isn't he?
It's true, though, isn't it? It's not best personality award. It's not believe TV.
He's definitely a very good fit to be an ambassador.
I think it could have helped us yesterday because we didn't move the ball forward really well yesterday.
Yeah,
maybe
possibly.
Matter could have helped. He could have helped us moving forward, maybe.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, I forgot to mention on the game, and maybe we can start talking about Luton now a little bit. But is it a worry? We go through everyone one more time, one each. Joe, we'll come to you first. Is it a worry how we start games? Because let's face it, it's been a problem since lockdown. The first 20 minutes, we always seem to either concede or come close to conceding.
To be honest, I hate making comparisons between my my club and my country, but the only time club... Okay, Usman, all right, it's happening, okay? The only time that either start to play is when we go 1-0 down. And it's incredibly frustrating. You're just watching, and they sit back, and there seems to be no control of the game whatsoever until they feel they have to play. And that's when we go 1-0 down, or else we had a big scare. So it is a huge worry going forward. It really, really is. Like, there was no reason yesterday why we shouldn't have been just annihilated Crystal Palace, but it tended to take us 20 minutes to do anything. So, yeah, I am fierce concerned going forward, if I'm being honest, with how we play and how we start games.
It's just slow, isn't it? Usman, let's look forward to Luton now, if we can do. We've been talking about putting out a full strength side, so hopefully that gives us a chance again to get legs to play well. But is there a bit more pressure on this game, potentially, than maybe we thought there would have been going into the start of the season?
Well, I would have said this. I suppose pressure. There's always going to be pressure playing for Man United, isn't there? Really, especially when you're playing cup competition against a lesser team, you don't want to be losing so early on the season. For me personally, all it has to win a trophy, and at the end of the day, this is one of the easier trophies to win. Not many teams take it seriously. Of course, Man City have won it on so many occasions. They don't, they're a plastic club anyway, so it don't matter. But, I don't know. I just think for me personally, if we were to get a bad result here against Luton, if I was Ollie, I'm not just saying this. I know people can say reaction, but if I was him, I'd just resign. If we lost to Luton, I'd be like, no, the board are taking the piss, and just call them all out. Because what's the point? Because if we lose Luton as well, off the back, they're going to sack him anyways, aren't they? Let's be real, because they're always looking for someone to throw under the bus, and they'll just say it's Ollie's fault. And, the fans will be straight in there. And it doesn't blame them. But the fans are already blaming him anyways. They're not looking at the bigger picture, which is the absolutely shambles that is the board not signing a centre back and a right winger. And also to come back to earlier, we've needed a right winger for 4 seasons, by the way, not just this season. But yeah, going back to the game itself, we have to win the game. Simple as play your strongest team. We need a trophy, and this is the easiest one. Get it done.
Mark, how good are Luton? No, I'm joking. I'm not going to hit you with a question like that. Don't worry. I know you've never always.
I've got a good answer for you, to be honest. I think their form at the moment, they've gone in and won the first few games, so they're going to be.
Actually, how many season friendlies did they play? Come on, tell us.
That's too much. No, I don't know.
They've got a Messi of a striker up front.
You what? Sorry,
they've got a Messi of a striker up front who's going to run us ragged, and a Wilfried Zaha. It's going to be horrible.
That's the case, and don't play Lindelof and McTominay. But I agree with what Usman said. Really, we need to play our strongest 11. I think it's a bit premature for Ole to maybe resign at that point. But if it comes to October the 5th and things haven't improved, then by all means, absolutely do that. Call him out. He needs to. I think we also forget that we have started slow against Palace yesterday, but we were actually very good after lockdown, and we started every game with a lot more fluidity and speed. And I think that we forget that very quickly. It's funny what one game does. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Hopefully we can get over yesterday and have a good game against Luton. Maybe we'll have a good result after that. And hopefully pick up a bit of speed. But yes, it is a concern. We do need to start quickly, and we absolutely, like Usman said, we've got to win. We need a trophy, and as he rightly says, other than Man City, this is a real competition that he needs to win. He needs to get this.
Well, just quickly on that. So, sorry, just to go back to your comment about us not starting slow. I felt like we start slow nearly every game. Do you not agree with that? Since lockdown, not even the last few games.
The last game, Sheffield United, Ben, that we actually scored in the first 10 minutes. Obviously, after that, every game, if you look at Bournemouth, we conceded first. Brighton, we didn't score in the first 25, the first water break. Aston Villa, we didn't score in the first water break. Prior to the water break. After that, then after 30 minutes on from there. But Sheffield United was literally the only game I can recall that we actually started well.
I do also feel like it's not always like just because we're playing badly. I do feel sometimes, and we used to do this quite a bit under Sir Alex as well. So I don't know if this is Ole trying to adopt something that he's seen the greatest manager ever doing. But it's not a not United thing to do to sit off a team and look at what they've got. Throw everything at us that you've got for the first 20 minutes. We'll withstand it, and then we'll come at you type of mentality. But the problem is we haven't got the players to withstand it. Yeah. And I think that's what's cocked it up for us a million times. Just what I was, just to go back to what I was saying to Joe. But how important is it, Gary? Let's come over to you, mate. How important is it to back the manager if you're the board? Mark's just hit on it. Usman's just hit on it. We've spoken about transfers. Just quickly, as a passionate Red like you are, who's seen us, under just the last 6 years, and managers not being backed, and having the board that we've got, and the Glazers backing us. How important is it that we back Ole now?
100%. I mean, to be fair, they have backed in the last two. Windows, haven't they? Really. They have backed in the last 2 windows, to be fair. He got Maguire last season, albeit we got our pants fall down, didn't we? Paid 80 million. Paid too much. Who's laughing? Is that you, Joe, laughing?
No.
Was it someone else?
Yeah, it was Joe. It was definitely Joe.
Yeah.
Why do they get blamed for everything?
Yeah. But they have backed him, but this is the critical season. I think they need to back him that little bit more. Everyone's saying Sancho. Is he going to be the answer? £108 million, a lot of money for that player. I mean, I've seen his performances for England. He hasn't really been the standout player that everyone thinks he is. I'm just a little concerned that everyone's going to say, "Oh, what a waste of money when we sign him," and it's going to be a knee-jerk reaction. It's going to be a panic buy because now we've lost against Palace and this and that. I can't believe if we want Sancho that bad, we're going to let this drag out all the way through to October the 5th. It should have been done a lot sooner. And I know Joe's so adamant that we've got him. But
he is the right player.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
The right player. He's exactly what Ole's looking for. He's got the speed. He's got the awareness. He's cutting inside. We're talking about overlapping. If you want to get someone like Rashford and Greenwood, you've got another fourth man there to be able to interchange with everybody. He is the perfect man for that right wing spot, and 108 million, you do it, because I tell you what, he'll be more expensive next summer when everyone else is after him, and I tell you, it will be great business. Granted, there's going to be a little bit of pressure from the price tag, but he is absolutely 100% the right man.
Well, I think if Maguire's worth 80 million, then he's definitely worth 108 million.
Exactly.
And over the course of a season, he will get us 20 goals and maybe a few assists, 10 assists or so, easily.
So with him being right wing, with him being a right wing, then obviously Wan-Bissaka won't need to do the forward runs as much, then, will he?
Well, he will, because he'll get inside. We were saying this about Rashford. Rashford and him and Greenwood were all inside forwards, so it allowed two wing backs to overlap and get some more crosses. With Telles, he'll be able to do that, and Wan-Bissaka will improve his game doing that. So it's not going to change anything.
Where does that leave Brandon Williams? Because he's actually right size. He's naturally right size.
Poor Brandon Williams right back over, man.
Yeah.
Well, gives him time to develop with less pressure.
He's only 19, isn't he?
He's getting thrown in for 10 games in a row and looking like well out of his depth and having a nosebleed when he goes forward.
Other than
Reds,
we haven't really got another right back. I'd move Brandon. I've said this in so many shows.
Yeah.
Move Brandon over to the right, get Tellers in for competition on the left. You haven't really up Ethan led. He's young, a bit like Brandon. He needs a bit of time to adapt and get his experience. He's not going to come in and be a backup to Wan-Bissaka. If anything happens to Wan-Bissaka, we're fucked unless Brandon moves over.
Yeah.
I don't think that also if Wan-Bissaka is told to sit back a little bit more so that we've got three players back when United are on the attack. For instance, if we had a more attacking left back and we had Jadon Sancho spreading the play on the right wing, I don't think that's a bad thing if Wan-Bissaka isn't overlapping all the time, because his main vocal point, his main quality is defending.
One-on-one.
So
becomes a third centre back, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I still think you put Wan-Bissaka in there. Wilfried Zaha has a harder game. Look at
what happened when McTominay had to drop back into that role.
100%.
He got lost for the third goal, as in he didn't make the tackle. Then it came in, shot past Lindelof, and almost let Ayew through for a shot, 3 on goal.
James, let me come over to you with this. There's a few comments now coming in about Jadon Sancho that I just want you to quickly talk about, because I don't want to talk loads about Sancho. Sanjay says Sancho will not get 20 goals and 10 assists in a season. I think he's saying that if he comes to United. And Charlie says there's no chance that Sancho makes a 30-goal contribution in a season. So, I do agree, Charlie Kilham. I do agree with what Gary's saying in terms of it's a high price tag, and this is what's going to sort of be expected of you. Can he live up to that, Jadon Sancho, James? What do you think?
First season, no, I don't think he will, because besides, your Zlatan Ibrahimovic's and players like that, when have you ever really seen a player come for a big price tag to United and really hit the ground running straight away? I think there's a pressure that's applied with this club that you don't really get anywhere else, and that obviously has an effect on players. So I completely agree. In the first season, I don't think he will get that many goal involvements, but give him a settling in period and just be patient with him. And there's no reason why he can't get at least 30 goal involvements every year going forwards.
Yeah, fair enough. And I will come back to you and speak about Luton in a second. First of all, Alan, let me come over to you and quickly talk about the Luton game. Would you make? I know the lads here have said that maybe we'd just go out full strength, bring Wan-Bissaka back in, potentially bring Matic back in. Would you make any changes, Alan, going into the game against Luton? Do you bring in a couple of the young lads, or do you go full strength?
Well, I would like to see Mengi get a chance to start, but I feel Lindelof should start this game because he had a poor game yesterday. I think with the Luton game, with more game time, he'll be able to improve along with Wan-Bissaka. So I think that'll be good. And I want to see Matic play against Luton as well, because we need to see if there's an issue even while playing Matic in midfield. I feel there won't be an issue, but we're going against a tough Brighton team as well. Graham Potter's side is a well-built system. So in order to compact that, we need to stay fit. We need to, reacquaint with each other for the next game. So I feel we should go with our strongest 11 against Luton.
Can I just quickly say, I love this show because we get so many different opinions live with 8 Reds here, and so many people in the comments as well giving their thoughts. To Jamie, I love the fact you've commented. I love the fact you get involved, even if potentially I don't agree with you. But I'm going to give you the face palm comment of the show tonight.
Oh, here we go.
Oh no, mate.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather Smalling play than Lindelof. Because fucking Lindelof's useless.
Well, do you know what? I've got a completely different outlook on Luton.
I'd play Bailly.
I played the full under 25s team that beat Salford 5-0. Play them and then go straight to Brighton, give them a week's training for the first team.
But if Oliver, just coming to you then on that quickly, as soon as you just said that, let's do 90 seconds on this, and then we're going to have to go because we're running well over. Coming to you on that, you're saying play a different team against Luton, get a week's training behind you, go into the Brighton game. But don't this United first team need games in their legs? Don't they just?
Well, yeah, but against Brighton, you can give it a take it. You know, I take a draw against Brighton. If you're actually looking into the games after that,
Oliver, you're going to have to say something.
Training, I think put the full under 25s team. They play well together, and let us have a bit of time on the training ground and get some sort of tactics in place.
We need match time.
That's bollocks. That is absolute bollocks.
Absolutely not.
Oh, no.
We are far, like, we can't just be conceding to like a draw against Brighton being a fine result. That is never going to be.
I want a win.
But you're saying
more important than going to
Luton. No.
I'll put it this way. Let's say 2 players get injured from the first team against Luton. And we're going to be heavy hitting. How threadbare our squad is anyway.
Come on. No.
You know, it's Luton,
bro,
mate. At the end of the day.
Confidence is everything. Rashford needs a goal. And
Yeah.
the other lads need a goal. Just say Rashford bags the brace, right? Hypothetically speaking. Let's just say Rashford bags the brace against Luton. Obviously, to us fans, it means absolutely nothing. But we know Rashford mentally, I think you're kind of overlooking the psychology in football. Like, for Rashford, it's so huge for him to just get a goal. Like, if he gets a goal against Luton and has a good game, he'll carry that through to Brighton. Yeah. You can't be playing the second team. What you said, I hear what you're saying. If we're in a situation where we're doing well, but if you go to Luton and play the second team and we lose, that's 2 lessons on the bounce. It doesn't matter. The pressure's going to be on Ollie already. It's the 3rd game of the season.
I do agree with playing Mengi though, because I'd play Mengi 100%. I think it's exactly the type of player.
Anyone but Lindelof, please, or Rojo, or Jones.
Yeah. Your boy Benjamin's made it.
Phil Jones and Smalling back on the centre back.
Draw versus Brighton. Ollie's gone if that happens. This quickly.
I doubt it. Mate.
Don't worry about Benji.
I agree with Benji. I always agree with Benji.
Leaky says no more Addy types. We already have Rashford, Lingard, Greenwood. United need players not from English grassroots levels. We need different players now from different countries like Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea are in the UK. Oh no, you mean like different players?
I think you mean
not just
I'm not hearing that
English players.
Sancho's good enough. I don't care if he's French, English, Japanese. It don't matter.
Shout out to Russell who says players need some minutes under their belt. Rashford needs a rest. I think his confidence can be boosted by telling him that he's to the league, so he needs to rest.
Come on, Rashford.
But Rashford's playing.
Rashford needs a goal. I'm telling you.
Full strength team and Mengi to see how well he does against with Harry, and then take players off if they're doing well. And Rashford just needs to start get a goal.
James, final word going into the Luton game. Everything you've heard, sum it all up. Tell us your thoughts. 6-0. Don't say that.
Rashford all 6.
James, sum it up. Tell us what you think. And I've got one more quick question after that. So 90 seconds. Take the floor, James. What are you thinking ahead of Luton?
Confused. I don't really know which way to go. I think the first team need legs. We've seen that. That's where we came unstuck against Crystal Palace. I think. Yes, it wasn't a good performance, but it's obvious that the legs weren't there. So you get this game against Luton. The intensity is going to be a bit lower. So it's basically, if they play the first team, it'll be effectively a friendly at that point. You know, just getting a bit of movement in the legs. But then it's also a brilliant opportunity to bring in some of the youngsters to the first team, like Mengi. I'd really like to see Hannibal in the first team as well, because I think he's a really exciting player. So. Yeah, I'm sort of split on it, but if I had to pick, I'd go first team without a doubt, and then, I'd be incredibly embarrassed if we didn't win in that situation.
Yeah. And one more, guys. James, keep your mic on. Did De Gea do enough? And let's just have this as a quick group one. De Gea do enough to keep himself in goal over Henderson, especially going into Tuesday? Or do you play Henderson because it's a cup game?
You've got Henderson.
Yeah, the Henderson in the cup
Hendo,
game.
mate,
But De Gea did save a fake penalty, so like he should be given another chance.
Also, by the way, he made a brilliant save from Ayew.
Yeah.
He had a good game.
When McTominay let him through.
It's not his shot stopping we're worried about. It's everything else that's the worry.
Ball at his feet. He lost the ball 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Well, do you ever think he's not a very commanding keeper, is he? He doesn't really sort out his defence.
Well,
a good organizer.
But De Gea got more take-ons than Rashford in the game, so
playing left wing. As man said, play De Gea left wing.
Honest to God, at least he'll win that 50-50. Fucking hell.
Oh God! Well, guys, Joe needs to go to bed. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning in Ireland. It's on a different time zone. It's all over the place. That was a long discussion tonight with a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, but it all comes from a place. All comes from a place of passion. We want to kickstart, and I know this is going to sound really weird. Drop a like, drop a subscribe, get involved, share the video. Let's go. Water Reds every Sunday evening at 10 o'clock. We're going to Luton with hope that we can right our wrong. That's for sure.
I don't know if hope's right, man. Optimism.
But also, Ollie needs a trophy, so we need to go and get that win out the bag. Play that full strength side. Let's get minutes under the belt, or play Mengi and Hendo anyway, because we need to see them play some games. Thank you to all you lot. Thank you for being on. Thank you for you guys for getting involved in the comments. Once again, hit subscribe, hit like, and we'll speak to you guys next time. Tomorrow morning, Joe's back with the morning show and a transfer special. So, speak to you guys then. Take it easy.
Yeah, ladies.